What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about having your Neptune in your partner's 8th house in SYNASTRY. Since when it comes to the 8th house in SYNASTRY, it represents the deep and intense side of a relationship. This does make it so that a relationship where there's planets coming into the 8th house is going to bring out the kind of attraction that goes beyond the surface level between two people. This house is all about secrets, shared secrets, and even emotional vulnerability between two people, which it brings out between two people in the relationship. Also, when it comes to the 8th house also is all about transformation. And with this relationship, it's going to lead to this transformative experience between the two partners with each other. There is this magnetic pull towards each other also, but when it comes to this relationship, it does feel like one where there's a sense of the unknown and not knowing what's going to come next, because with the 8th house, there's also this feeling of mystery. And so things like trust and things like deep kind of intimacy between the two partners also comes into play between them when it comes to having the planet coming into the 8th house. It also has to do with things like power, and in their relationship, power dynamics is also going to play a role. And when it comes to that feeling of emotional vulnerability or vulnerability with each other, it's going to happen in the sense that they are going to experience having a lot of shared secrets between each other, and that also can include things like their insecurities and things like their hidden desires. This house can make a relationship feel very deep, very passionate, very even unforgettable, but it is also one where things feel very psychological. Traditionally, the 8th house is ruled by the sign of Scorpio, and Scorpio is a sign associated with things like death and rebirth. Although not literally, this does happen when it comes to the 8th house, and it can play out psychologically for someone, leading to things like healing and even things like evolving. And this happens through being able to deal with emotional baggage and the parts of ourselves that we'd often want to keep hidden, like fears and vulnerabilities. And because of that, having somebody's planet activating your 8th house can also make it so that a lot of these aspects get brought up to the surface and really bring us to have to confront them. And with them being brought up to the surface, they can really push us to have to confront and even heal and be able to let go of emotional baggage from the past. And when it comes to this process, it feels like an internal kind of a rebirth where a person can actually gain and develop a deeper understanding of themselves, and so can their partner. And when it comes to this experience, it can be one that is a little bit uncomfortable, can even feel a bit challenging, but at the same time it can also be one, because it is leading to transformation, it can also be deeply rewarding. And on the other hand, when it comes to Neptune, this is also a planet that is pretty deep, and it brings a different kind of depth compared to the 8th house. So when it comes to Neptune, unlike the 8th house, which is all about being able to have that sense of intimacy, diving into truths, especially emotional truths that are hidden, and even things like being able to share power and how the dynamics that involve power between two people go. When it comes to Neptune, this is more so all about the things like illusions, dreams, spirituality, compassion, as compared to the 8th house, which is a more intense kind of a depth and even more likely to lead to this transformative nature. There's just something more mystical about Neptune. It also is one planet that really can also bring in the sense of unconditional love between two people and blurs the boundaries between two people at times. And it's also all about healing, more so emotional healing. And when it comes to Neptune, it is a more romantic energy, more dreamy with more ethereal qualities. And when it comes to Neptune, it does have the potential to actually soften the 8th house's more intense quality, which can work and which can be good. So when someone's Neptune is falling in someone's 8th house in SYNASTRY, this can bring out this mystical energy between two people, And it can also bring out this very magnetic energy between the two of them, where they have that strong magnetic pull. But when it comes to the Neptune person and the 8th house person, they especially can be naturally drawn towards this emotional kind of pull within this relationship between the two of them. Because with their relationship, they likely have this real deep emotional depth between the two of them, and also have this deep sense of intimacy between the two of them in this relationship. And with that, it can feel like they speak to each other through their feelings. There's this energy of being able to understand each other's feelings without the need to be speaking about it or sharing about it by speaking. And within this relationship, they can have intense vulnerability between the two of them. It can be this sense of being able to share in a space where they can perceive that there is the space where they can be emotionally vulnerable with each other. And they see the best in each other with this Neptune in the 8th house placement. And when it comes to having Neptune in the 8th house, this too can make the relationship feel a bit dreamlike between the two partners, because certain parts of their relationship can feel foggy, but also like there's a sense of mystery to their connection and around certain aspects within their connection. And it's also likely that within this connection between the Neptune person and the 8th house person, in some way, issues of the past or even just things like unspoken feelings that they have not shared come up to the surface and become a factor or influence this connection. And when it comes to having this placement between two people, it does bring up this desire to be able to rescue each other in one way or another, or to be able to heal each other in one way or another. And that's because of the nature of Neptune being very compassionate and also the 8th house being very vulnerable. And when it comes to being able to actually rescue each other or heal each other, it's especially around things like past wounds or traumas. And when it comes to having your Neptune falling in someone's 8th house, it can also feel like a therapeutic experience when it comes to the bond that the Neptune person and the 8th house person share. And when it comes to the Neptune person, this can be something that further draws them to the 8th house person. That feeling of being able to either heal or rescue on some level the 8th house person in this relationship. But also there's some kind of intrigue for the Neptune person around the 8th house person. It could be the mystery or the intensity and that thing of keeping some part of themselves hidden. This allows for the Neptune person to be able to tap into the side of their bond where it can feel like there is a sense of purpose for the Neptune person with the 8th house person, but also there's also the opportunity to be able to kind of escape from ordinary reality because of this sense of the unknown that comes with the mystery that also comes with the 8th house. So the 8th house person is kind of like an enigma to the Neptune person, and the Neptune person can sense that in this relationship with the 8th house person. And when it comes to their connection, they can have this spiritual and even mystical kind of feel to it, where they can even feel that when it comes to the intimacy between the Neptune person and the 8th house person, they get the opportunity to be able to actually get to the more deeper emotions or aspects of intimacy that they wouldn't normally be able to experience elsewhere. Because with the 8th house person, they can get the sense that the 8th house person embodies the sense of strength as well as vulnerability in this relationship with them. So for the Neptune person, they experience this as being deep and meaningful kind of a bond with the 8th house person. And it also satisfies their emotional needs as well as their spiritual needs in this relationship. And when it comes to the 8th house person and the 8th house person being drawn to the Neptune person here, the 8th house person is quite drawn to the Neptune person's almost otherworldly kind of energy. When it comes to the Neptune person and how they affect the 8th house person, they allow for the 8th house person to be able to tap into their emotional depth and the 8th house person's desire for mystery and even things like transformation. But it's really about the way that the Neptune person goes about doing this for the 8th house person. When it comes to the Neptune person, they do this in a way that is more so gentle and also with a lot of compassion, which also can feel quite healing for the 8th house person. And in so, the Neptune person awakens the softer side of the 8th house person and actually allows for this feeling of a safe space to be able to open up about the things that they would usually keep hidden or guarded, because the Neptune person is likely coming in here with a sense of empathy and sensitivity towards the 8th house person. This does create a feeling of a safe space for the 8th house person with the Neptune person. So they feel accepted, they feel understood on a soul deep level. Because the 8th house person is most likely used to more of an emotional intensity than the kind of energy that the Neptune person is bringing to them. And it can be quite validating, the energy of the Neptune person in this relationship with the 8th house person. Just when it comes to that unconditional kind of support that Neptune can bring, and even that sense of idealistic energy around love that Neptune can also bring. And in this relationship with the Neptune person, it still feels very transformative for the 8th house person, but it also feels safe because of the compassion that the Neptune person can bring into this relationship, into the life of the 8th house person. However, when it comes to the challenges or the potential negatives in this relationship with this placement of having Neptune falling into your partner's 8th house, this can be around things like being overwhelmed by this energy, because when it comes to having Neptune coming into this house, it can actually feel very overwhelming to deal with the intense emotions that can also come up in this relationship between the Neptune person and the 8th house person. And also when it comes to Neptune and Neptune's tendency to also blur the boundaries, it can also lead to confusion. And for the Neptune person especially, they can also not have a clear view of the 8th house person or the 8th house person's intentions. This allows for the 8th house person to be able to have power over the Neptune person if they wanted to. And this can look like the 8th house person being able to manipulate or use the Neptune person's secrets against the Neptune person. Because the 8th house is still a house that is associated with control and power, if the 8th house wanted to, they could exploit the side of the Neptune person where they blur the boundaries or have a tendency to escape reality and create this idealized vision of the relationship. And they can do this by using emotional intensity or even secrets to influence the Neptune person. But also another thing in the negative when it comes to having this placement is that it can also lead to this over-reliance on each other. And that can look like them being overly dependent on each other in this relationship, especially emotionally, and even leading to things like codependency. Because with this placement, it can also be one that is very consuming, and the connection can feel codependent, or it can lead to this place where it is a connection that just becomes too consuming. But overall, when it comes to having this placement with someone, it is one with a lot of potential to lead to a lot of transformation and even healing for both of the partners. It's likely going to be one where there is a deep emotional bond between the two partners, and also the sense of experiencing a deep level of intimacy and even things like a ideal kind of spiritual connection between the two of them that they can have. Well, that does it for this video on having your Neptune falling into your partner's 8th house in Synastry. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.